Okay, so starting off with prophecy number 10. Buddha predicted. One of the earliest prophecies that we can see is of Lord Buddha. The Srimad Bhagavatam, which is spoken about 5,000 years ago, it's believed, predicted the appearance of the Lord Buddha, who appeared 2,500 years later according to most historians, in 560 BCE. However, there's some other evidence that has shown that Buddha was born in 1887 BCE, and he renounced the world in 1858, and then he passed away in 1807 BCE. So depending on what historian you ask, they may give you some different dates either way. There's also a prediction about the falling away from religion. Whenever there's a falling away from the true law religion and an upsurge of unlawfulness, and then I admit myself, I come into being age after age to protect the virtuous and to destroy evildoers, to establish a firm basis for the true law. And that's in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verses 7 to 8. At number 8, we have the prophecy of hypocritical saints. Those who present themselves as saints are constantly engaged in preaching false doctrines. Those who have apparently renounced the world are rich in worldly possessions and have become family men. And you can find that in the Srimad Bhagavata, BEF 300 CE. Number 7 brings us the prophecy of wildfires. And there's a passage that says, "And the path of the wind will be confused and agitated, and all around will be noise and uproar. And everywhere there will be conflagrations, and fires will blaze on all sides." And that's in the Mahabharata, and it's believed that was written about 3000 BCE. The birthplace of Buddha was also a prophecy. The Bhagavata says, "In the beginning of the age of Kali Yuga, the Supreme Being will appear in the province of Gaya as Lord Buddha, the son of Anjana, just for the purpose of deluding those who are always envious of the faithful believers." Similar verses are found in many other Puranas, and this is in reference to a time when the unqualified people used perverted forms of Vedic rituals as well as unnecessarily slaughter animals. Now, it said that the Buddha rejected the Vedic rites and he preached non-violence. And this verse shows that Lord Buddha was an incarnation of the Supreme Being who would appear in Gaya, which is a town in central India. Nevertheless though, some historians also say that Buddha, whose name was Siddhartha Gautama, was actually born in Lambi, Nepal, and that his mother was Queen Mahamaya. Now if you go to Nepal, in the area where it's believed that Buddha was born, you'll see shrines pretty much everywhere dedicated to Buddha. It's also prophesied that wealth and piety will decrease day by day until the world will be totally depraved. Then property alone will confer rank. Wealth will be the only source of devotion, passion will be the sole bond of union between sexes, falsehood will be the only means of success in litigation, and women will be objects merely of sensual gratification. Earth will be venerated for its material treasures, the Brahminical thread will constitute the Brahmin, external types will be the only distinction of several orders of life. Dishonesty will be the universal means of subsistence, weakness will be the cause of dependence, menace and presumption will be substituted for learning, liberality will be devotion, simple ablutions will be purification, mutual assent will be marriage, fine clothes will be dignity, and water afar off will be esteemed a holy spring. Amidst all castes, he who is the strongest will reign over the principality. No man's life will exceed 23 years. Thus in the age of Kali shall decay constantly proceed until the human race approaches its annihilation. And that's taken from the Vishnu Purana 4 verses 24. Now it says a whole lot, I just paraphrase and cut it down into some bite-sized chunks. But nevertheless, it's pretty much the picture that the passage paints. Now let's talk about the prophecy of the indulgence of sexual commerce. The learned pandits, who are the Hindu theologians, for their part will indulge in sexual commerce with the wives like buffaloes. They are experts in breeding children and are not at all clever in attaining enlightenment. The substance and depth of things has disappeared everywhere, and that's in the Srimad Bhagavata. Prophecy number 3 is Vishnu as Kalki. It said that Vishnu will return as Kalki upon a white horse as the last avatar amid fire and flames, and that's found in the Hindu Puranas, and that's believed to be written about 900 CE. Prophecy number 2 goes a lot in detail about afflictions and enlightenment. So it says that in the Kali age, men will be afflicted afflicted by old age, disease, hunger, and from sorrow there will arise depression, indifference, deep thought, enlightenment, and virtuous behavior. Then the age will change, deluding their minds like a dream, by force of fate, and when the golden age begins, those left over from the Kali age will be progenitors of the golden age. Thus there is eternal continuity from age to age. And you can find that in the Linga Purana, chapter 1, verses 40. Kind of gives you a picture of like things are going to get really bad and then get really good afterwards. It's definitely a similar theme that we see popping up in other religions. And finally, the number 1 prophecy is suffering and health, money, and more. So yeah, like I said, just talking a little bit more about things getting bad before they get good. This passage says, already vexed by famine and heavy taxation, people will perish through drought, excessive cold, storms, scorching sunshine, heavy rain, snowfall, and mutual conflict. In the age of Kali, men will be tormented by hunger and thirst, sickness, and worry. And that's found in the Srimad Bhagavata.
In today's video, we'll explore 10 evil demons found in Hinduism. According to Hindu mythology, humans, gods, and demons are all regarded as the children of Brahma, the universe's creator. However, the difference in their way of thinking and understanding Brahma's teachings eventually lead to some being considered evil and the others being considered good. Welcome back to FTD Facts. I'm Sarah Carvalho, and today we'll be exploring 10 evil demons found in Hinduism in no particular order. Alright, up at number 10 we have Ravana. Ravana was a powerful and evil demon king with 20 hands and 10 heads. He was considered the most dreadful creature of the universe, but was one of the very intellectual demons who mastered all the holy scripts of Hindu mythology. He perished at the hands of Rama for abducting Rama's wife, Sita, to marry her. When Lord Rama terminated Ravana, he was known as one of the longest living demons. Up next, we have Mahishasur. Mahishasur was a demon king who inherited a buffalo's body with the upper body of a human. He was a devotee of Lord Brahma and eventually got a blessing from him that no man would ever be able to kill him and that only a woman could kill him. Mahishasur was extremely powerful, and his pride led to his downfall. Believing that he would be immortal and that no woman would be able to match his strength, he started a great war. However, the prophecy was fulfilled when Mahishasur perished at the hands of a woman, Madurga, who fought him to stop the war he had created. Alright, up next we have Hiranyakshipu. Hiranyakshipu was the egoistic demon king. He wanted his people to praise him as a god and considered himself to be the center of the world. He believed he was the creator of the universe with uncontrollable supreme power. While his entire kingdom worshipped him, his own son Prahlad refused to worship him as the Lord and instead was devoted to Lord Vishnu. Out of jealousy, Hiranyakshipu attempted many times to end the life of his son, but was unsuccessful. Seeing this, Lord Narsimha, or a form of Lord Vishnu, tore apart the demon Hiranyakshipu and destroyed him. Moving on to the story of Mahabali. Now, not every demon in Hindu mythology was completely evil. Mahabali is an example of one of the more generous demon kings. Everyone in his kingdom was happy under his rule, and he was completely devoted to the Lord. Once a Vamana came to his kingdom and asked the demon king to give him a piece of land just big enough to be covered by his footsteps. Now, secretly, it was Lord Vishnu disguised as Vamana. Generous as he was, Mahabali promised to fulfill the wish of Vamana. And upon hearing this promise, Vamana grew so big that one of his footsteps covered the entire world, and Mahabali came to know that Vamana was really Lord Vishnu. To seek blessings from the Lord, Mahabali asked Vamana to put the next footprint on his forehead. But of course, as a result of receiving the Lord's giant footstep on his forehead, Mahabali perished. Up at number 6, we have the story of Raktabija. Raktabija was one of the strongest demons who had a very unique blessing that if even one drop of his blood fell on the ground, from that same drop, a duplicate of him would be born. This meant that it was very difficult to defeat or terminate Raktabija, so no one dared to challenge him. Every time Raktabija's duplicate was formed, his power would increase. Now, in a battle with the goddess Durga, Raktabija's blood spilled to the ground and thousands of Raktabija were born. Eventually, the Hindu goddess Kali came forward and pierced the demon, making sure to drink every drop of blood that spilled before it could ever hit the ground, and in essence, terminating him. Now, up at the halfway point in today's video at number 5, we have Narakasura. Narakasura was a demon king ruler disliked by his people because he tortured them. He had once kidnapped around 1,600 women only to torment them for his own pleasure. Soon his people could no longer take the torture and collectively approached the supreme being Krishna for help. Krishna promised that he would fight and terminate the demon king on their behalf. However, Narakasura's life could only end at the hands of a woman. So Krishna and his wife fought the battle against Narakasura, emerging victoriously and destroying Narakasura. And now we come to the story of Kumbhakaran. Hindu demon Kumbhakarna, or the sleeping giant, had an enormous body and was blessed with the ability to sleep for months. But once asleep, waking him was considered tremendously difficult. His brother Ravana, who was also a powerful demon, had kidnapped Rama's wife to marry her. When war broke out between the two, Ravana needed his brother's help to win the war. To wake him from a deep sleep, Ravana had 1,000 elephants walk over Kumbhakaran, waking him in time for battle. Now, Kumbhakaran knew that his brother was doing wrong, and for that, he tried to convince him to stop, but Ravana would not listen. Out of loyalty, Kumbhakaran fought against Rama for his brother. He destroyed most of Rama's army in the battle, but eventually perished at the hands of Rama. Up next at number 3, we have the story of Tarakasura. Tarakasura was an evil demon king who defeated his challengers and forced them to become his servants. He praised the gods and eventually received their blessings. However, he began to misuse his power and many innocent perished at his hands. As per his blessing from the gods, Tarakasura could only be defeated by the son of Lord Shiva, but at the time, Shiva had no children. However, after Shiva's marriage to Parvati, Kartikeya was born. Kartikeya then fought Tarakasura and destroyed him and all of his brothers. Moving on to the story of Surpanyaka. Surpanyaka was a wicked demoness and the sister of the demon king Ravana. She was considered very ugly and married to Dushtabudi. Dushtabudi was terribly greedy and wanted Ravana's kingdom. When Ravana heard about his intentions, he destroyed Dushtabudi, leaving Surpanyaka a widow. A few years later, she saw Lakshmana and Rama roaming around the forest. She was attracted to them and of course wanted to marry them. However, both of them declined her proposal and she became angry. To try and win their love, she attempted to attack Sita, the wife of Rama, and the sister-in-law of Lakshmana. Because of this, Lakshmana chopped off her nose and Rama declared a battle against her. In the end, Rama emerged victoriously and Surpanyaka left alone and in tears. And up at number 1, perhaps one of the most evil demons that I found was Putna. Lord Krishna appeared as a supreme personality on earth to destroy all the demons and protect his devotees. Putna was the demoness who practiced the art of taking the lives of infants through black magic. One day, Putna dressed herself as a beautiful girl and entered the infant Krishna's house to end his life. When Putna entered the room, she took Krishna onto her lap. The wicked demoness had smeared poison on her nipple and pushed it into his mouth, expecting him to die as she fed him. However, her plan failed, and instead, the infant Krishna sucked the life out of her. Eventually, the demoness returned to her normal form and perished, screaming in pain as her body extended up to 12 miles, crashing into trees and the village houses.
Starting at number 10, there is Yali. It is portrayed as part lion and part elephant and part horse as well. You'll see Yali sculptures all over South Asia inside of temples, and Yali is believed to have a lot of strength and ferociousness and speed exactly like a lion. Now the legends say that Yali roamed the jungles fearlessly, and that's why it's sculpted at the entrance of temples and homes to keep all sorts of evil forces away. Then we have, at number 9, Narasimha. So there's a character by the name of Hiranyakasipu, who was an Ashura king that had been given a blessing by Brahma that made him virtually indestructible. He could not die either on earth or in space, nor in fire or water, neither could he die in the day or night, and neither inside or outside of a home or anything, nor he couldn't die by human, animal, or god, or an inanimate object or an animate object. So to kill Hiranyakasipu, the god Vishnu actually took on the form of Narasimha, and he came out to kill him at twilight, which is neither day or night, on the doorstep of a palace, which is neither inside or outside. He used his nails to kill, which is neither an animate or an inanimate object, and he put him on his lap before killing him, which is neither on earth or in space. Pretty smart. Timangila comes in at number 8. Now Timangila is another huge aquatic creature that is mentioned in the Mahabharata. This is a creature that is so massive that it can literally swallow an entire whale. Now it's said that the Timangila could cause turbulence in the entire ocean whenever it goes out to look for food. So maybe that's behind all of these tsunamis and waves, maybe. I don't know. Next up at number 7, Navagunjara. This is a creature that was made from 9 animals. It has a head of a rooster and it's about 3 feet tall. It stands on 3 feet, each of which has an elephant and tiger, deer, and a horse. Now the 4th limb was a raised human arm that carries a lotus. And this creature further had a neck of a peacock, and it has a hump of a camel, and the waist of a lion, and the tail was a tail of a serpent. Whole lot of creatures mashed into one. Just imagine seeing this thing. Here's a popular one, Garuda, at number 6. Garuda literally means eagle, and it has a head and wings of an eagle, of course, and the rest of its body is the body of a man. Now it's known as the king of birds. Now the Garuda has references in several well-known scriptures. It's also the vehicle of the Lord Vishnu, who's one of the gods in the Hindu Holy Trinity. And Garuda is not independently worshipped, but worshipped along with Lord Vishnu. In pictures you'll see Garuda carrying Vishnu on its back. Kamadhenu comes in at number 5. Kamadhenu is a cow and is described in Hindu mythology as the mother of all cows. She's miraculous and she provides whatever is desired by her owner. Kamadhenu is often portrayed as the mother of cattle, and she's generally depicted as having a white color with several different deities within her body. And it's believed that all cows on earth are looked up to as the embodiment of the Kamadhenu in Hinduism. Ahi comes in at number 4. Ahi is also known as Vitra, and he's a huge dragon in Hindu mythology. Now this dragon brings misfortune everywhere it goes. According to the story, once Ahi drank all of the water on the earth and curled itself up to sleep around a mountain. Now the ancient god Trita, which was later replaced by Indra, killed this demon creature while it was sleeping using a thunderbolt. So water was then released and fertility and life was restored on the planet. Airavat comes in at number 3. Now how the story goes is like this. Airavat was born when Brahma sang 7 sacred hymns over 2 halves of the egg shell from which Garuda hatched out of. Now he also is a reason behind the myth that elephant can bring clouds. When Indra defeated Vitasur, who was a demon of drought, Airavata reached down to the watery underworld with his trunk and sprayed the water into the clouds. And then Indra caused the water in the clouds to rain down on the land, and then the drought came to an end. Sheshnag comes in at number 2. Now he's represented as a snake with 1,000 heads, and according to the legend, Sheshnag had 1,000 brothers who always caused some kind of trouble. So he got tired of them, and he finally left home and went to the Himalayas, and he started meditating and observing penances for his brother's evil actions. Impressed by this, Lord Brahma offered him a blessing, but Sheshnag only asked to be a servant of spirituality. So Brahma asked Sheshnag to actually coil around the entire earth and hold it very steady. And it's said that when Sheshnag coils forward, creation happens, and when it coils backwards, then the universe actually ceases to exist. And then finally, here at number 1, we have Shiva's snake. The snake around Shiva's neck has so many legends regarding it, but one of the most popular ones is that when the cosmic oceans were actually being churned, the poison produced by it was also consumed by some snakes along with Shiva himself. Now, impressed by this, Shiva decided to accept Vasuki, who was the king of snakes, around his neck. And it also said that the snake helps to keep the poison in Shiva's throat and not let it slide down into his body. It's also believed that the 3 coils of the snake around Shiva's neck represent the past, the present, and the future. And the direction of its hood is towards the right, and actually signifies that Shiva's perpetual law of reason and justice is a persevering force in the universe to keep its natural order.